In this video, we will talk about the history of the Silk Road. The Silk Road is one of the most significant trade routes in history, connecting the East and West for centuries. It was not just a single road, but a network of interconnected trade routes that facilitated the exchange of goods, culture, religion, and ideas between various civilizations. The Silk Road played a crucial role in shaping the history of many regions, from China and Central Asia to the Middle East and Europe. The origins of the Silk Road. The Silk Road began to emerge during the Han Dynasty in China around the 2nd century BCE. This period marked the formal beginning of one of the most famous trade networks in history. The Chinese were eager to trade their highly valued silk, a luxury product that was in great demand across the world, particularly in regions like Europe, the Middle East, and Central Asia. Silk wasn't just a product, it became a symbol of wealth and status, driving the growth of trade routes that would connect different civilizations. While the Han Dynasty is often credited with the development of the Silk Road, the foundation for these trade routes had already been laid by earlier civilizations. The Persian Empire, for instance, had established extensive trade networks across Central Asia, connecting the East and West. Similarly, the Greek Empire, particularly during the time of Alexander the Great, played a role in linking different regions through trade and cultural exchange. These earlier empires set the stage for the more formalized trade routes that would later be known as the Silk Road. The establishment of the Silk Road was not just about silk. Other goods, including spices, precious metals, gemstones, and textiles, were also traded along these routes. This network of trade routes extended over thousands of miles, linking China with Central Asia, the Middle East, and eventually Europe. The exchange of goods wasn't the only significant aspect of the Silk Road. It also facilitated the exchange of ideas, cultures, religions, and even technologies. For example, Buddhism spread from India to China and other parts of Asia via the Silk Road, influencing societies along the way. In conclusion, the Silk Road was a complex and multifaceted trade network that began during the Han Dynasty, but had its roots in earlier civilizations. It was fueled by the demand for luxury goods, particularly silk, and played a critical role in connecting different parts of the world, leading to significant cultural, economic, and political exchanges that shaped the course of history. Key goods traded. While silk was the most well-known product traded along the Silk Road, a wide variety of other goods were exchanged as well. Spices from India and Southeast Asia were highly prized and traveled along these routes, adding flavor and value to the markets of the West. Precious stones and metals, such as gold and silver, were also in high demand and moved across continents through the Silk Road's vast network. In return, merchants from the West brought valuable goods to the East. Wool from Central Asia, horses from the steppes, and glassware from the Roman Empire were some of the items that made their way to China and other eastern regions. The exchange wasn't limited to luxury items. Essential food crops were also traded. Wheat, grapes, and dates, for example, were introduced to new areas, enriching the diets and agricultural practices of various cultures. The Silk Road thus served as a bridge between distant lands, allowing not only goods but also ideas and innovations to travel across vast distances. This exchange of goods and knowledge helped to connect different civilizations, making the Silk Road a vital part of world history. Cultural exchange. The Silk Road was not just a conduit for goods, it was also a bridge for cultural exchange. Along the trade routes, merchants, travelers, and pilgrims exchanged ideas, art, and religious beliefs. Buddhism, for example, spread from India to China and other parts of Asia through the Silk Road. Similarly, Islam, Zoroastrianism, and Christianity also traveled along these routes, influencing various cultures. Art, architecture, and literature were shared and enriched by the interactions between diverse civilizations. Major cities and stops. Several major cities and trading posts emerged along the Silk Road, serving as hubs of commerce and culture. Cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Kashgar in Central Asia became thriving centers of trade, attracting merchants from all over the world. These cities were not only important for trade but also for the spread of knowledge, as they became centers of learning and scholarship. Challenges and dangers. Traveling along the Silk Road was not without its challenges. The journey was long and arduous, often taking months or even years to complete. Merchants had to traverse harsh deserts, high mountain ranges, and vast plains, all while facing the constant threat of bandits and hostile tribes. The political instability of various regions also posed risks, as wars and conflicts could disrupt trade. The role of empires. Several empires played a crucial role in maintaining and protecting the Silk Road. The Han Dynasty in China, the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, and later the Mongol Empire all contributed to the stability and prosperity of the trade routes. The Pax Mongolica, in particular, provided a period of relative peace and security along the Silk Road during the 13th and 14th centuries, allowing trade to flourish. Decline of the Silk Road. The Silk Road began to decline in the 15th century due to several factors. The rise of maritime trade routes, which offered faster and safer transportation of goods, reduced the importance of overland routes. Additionally, the fragmentation of the Mongol Empire and the rise of the Ottoman Empire, which controlled key parts of the trade routes, further diminished the Silk Road's significance. The spread of the Black Death, which devastated populations along the trade routes, also contributed to the decline. The legacy of the Silk Road. Despite its decline, the legacy of the Silk Road endures to this day. The cultural and economic exchanges that took place along the Silk Road had a profound impact on the development of civilizations across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. The blending of cultures, ideas, and technologies that occurred along these trade routes helped shape the modern world. Today, the Silk Road is celebrated as a symbol of cultural diversity and global interconnectedness. The modern Silk Road. In recent years, there has been a renewed interest in the Silk Road, particularly with China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. This ambitious project aims to revive and expand the ancient trade routes by developing infrastructure and trade networks across Asia, Europe, and Africa. The BRI seeks to enhance economic cooperation and connectivity, much like the original Silk Road, and has the potential to reshape global trade and geopolitics in the 21st century. The history of the Silk Road is a testament to the power of trade and cultural exchange in shaping human history. For centuries, this network of trade routes connected distant civilizations, fostering the exchange of goods, ideas, and knowledge. While the Silk Road may no longer be the primary conduit for global trade, its legacy lives on in the cultural and economic ties that continue to bind the East and West. The story of the Silk Road is a reminder of the importance of collaboration and connectivity in an increasingly interconnected world. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.